let's play this one other clip of Jeffery Clark. This is the one on Tucker Carlson. I hate to talk about anything other than Roe v. Wade. We have done a lot of shows on it. We're going to have constitutional, or it's a constitutional law professor on Monday. We'll probably be talking about on Wednesday as well some of these Supreme Court decisions. We have done multiple interviews on this inevitability over the past couple of weeks, and you can go back and listen to those. But very important. I think that this January 6th stuff gets out, makes it even in many respects more important. Because all of this is part of the whole. The idea that the Supreme Court is constituted of 6 conservatives now, 3 of whom were seated under very dubious situations. The idea that you would have senators and congresspeople and DOJ officials who were more than willing to be active participants in a soft coup attempt in this country from the Republican Party, these are of the same species, if you will. They don't care. There are no rules. There is only naked power within these sort of very, sort of broad constructs. Naked power. This must be met by political opponents who understand that, who have, over the course of 20 or 30 years, need to internalize this or step out of the way. And my guess is step out of the way is a far more viable option for them. So here is this guy is Jeffery Clark. He's mid-level DOJ.
Like an environmental lawyer.
Environmental lawyer.
Yeah.
And it's becoming clear now that there were 2 tracks that they hoped to converge in the middle. They were looking for state officials to produce new electors or some confusion about the electors and send that up the chain to the Senate, to the certification process. And to help that and to provide cover for the senators who were pushing for these new electors, and to provide impetus for the states, particularly Georgia. They knew the more, the merrier. Trump wanted the DOJ to say that there are electoral shenanigans going on in these states. And to be clear, they investigated. Bill Barr investigated. There was nothing. There was nothing you could even hang his hat on. Trump said, get out. They brought in acting DOJ head. He wouldn't do it. And Jeffery Clark got the good idea, like, maybe I'll be the guy. And he went around and contacted Trump directly. Not exactly clear how. And he was brought into a room with Donahue, who was a DOJ official.
He's the deputy attorney general at the time.
And it was Rosen was the acting
AG. Yeah.
AG. And they said, if you fire us and appoint this guy, everybody else is going to quit too. And so here's Jeffery Clark running to Tucker Carlson's program to complain that he's now the subject of an investigation because he attempted to be the driver of this soft coup.
One of the political opponents of the January 6th committee is targeting is a man called Jeff Clark. He was Assistant Attorney General during the previous administration. Before dawn on Wednesday, which is to say yesterday, a large group of armed federal agents wearing body armor with weapons raided Jeff Clark's home.
Pause it for
They
1
dragged
second.
him into this.
Pause it for 1 second. Will you please play the clip of Tucker Carlson advocating for federal police to not carry weapons? They're armed. As if, wow, that's a weird, whoa. There were federal police who were armed? Holy cow. We never see that in this country.
the street in his pajamas. Now, what did Jeff Clark do wrong? Was he selling fentanyl? Was he human trafficking on the Mexican border? No. Jeff Clark did not commit any crime. What he did wrong was calling for an investigation into voter fraud.
Pause it.
We are happy to.
He did not call for an investigation into voter fraud. That had already happened. He was willing to pretend that the results of that investigation into election fraud were different than they were. That's what he was willing to do. In other words, commit fraud against the United States of America.
Tomato, tomato.
Investigation into voter fraud. We are happy to have Jeff Clark join us now. He's a senior fellow with the Center for Renewing America. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. This is an almost, I mean, this is a Soviet account, really. So tell us what happened and why.
It is, and good to be here, Tucker. So yesterday at about just before 7 a.m., there was loud banging at my door, insistent banging. So I just rushed down as fast as I could. I quickly figured out, that there were agents there. I opened the door and asked for the courtesy to be able to put some pants on, and was told, no, you got to come outside. So I came outside. They swept the house. Eventually, they let me go back inside and put the pants on. But then, by my count at one point, 12 agents and 2 Fairfax County police officers went into my house, searched it for 3.5 hours. They even brought along something, Tucker, I've never seen before or heard of, a electronic sniffing dog. And they took all of the electronics from my house. I don't blame the agents. I think what you're talking about in terms of weaponization is really about who's pointing the agents and telling them what to do, Tucker.
So Peter Strzok, who worked at the FBI, is effectively a criminal, in my view, never really punished, sent out a tweet today mocking you and gloating over the fact that the Biden administration stole your cell phone and will now be reading all of your private messages. I mean, at what point
for 1 second. That is what is known as a criminal investigation. It's not the Biden administration stole your phone. It was the FBI confiscated your phones to search them for evidence of you being involved in a soft coup against the United States. That's what that is.
Say the Department of Justice, where you once served, is a political instrument. It's completely out of control.
Yeah, I think this is highly politicized, and it's also part, Tucker, if you didn't know it, of a nationwide effort yesterday. There were multiple states where multiple people were roughly simultaneously, rated for their electronic devices. And that obviously requires a high level of coordination. And look, with the hearing that was pointed at me and targeting me today with, the special audience member of Sean Penn, so this is Hollywood.
All right, that's you're relying on like Hollywood. Can you imagine that the Department of Justice coordinated the confiscation of electronic communication devices because there was a good chance they were all conspiring with each other and they didn't want to give anybody the tip-off that you should go and erase your phones or hide your phones?
Yeah, hey, the FBI just slammed down my door. You might have like 45 minutes to get rid of all those fraudulent elector documents that we have in our Google Doc.
Unbelievable. Really impressive. And Tucker Carlson, the last refuge for a scoundrel, once again. Jeffery Clark's in trouble, and he knows it. And you're starting to see the outlines of just how large of a conspiracy this really was. There was a lot. This was an enterprise.
Yeah.
This was an enterprise. You had your shock troops on the ground, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. You had your trying to influence the fake electors on the state side and on the federal side, both by pretending that there was election fraud and by having federal lawmakers carry these electors up there. I mean, it's all going on. Really impressive. They should all go to jail.
Yep.
All right, couple IMs, then we're going to get out of here. We will be talking more about this, but talk to other people. That's the important part.